All right. So I'm recording as of right now, guys. Um, all right. Thanks for coming. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. I know we had you guys start on kind of an unusual day. You know, it was a holiday Monday, but we wanted to postpone you a week. That way you can figure out equipment because that was also a curveball for some of us, you know, just because dumbbells are out everywhere and they've been out for at least 2 months. I went ahead and had my team back in March, right when I got a whisper of all of this going down. I was immediately, you know, searching for everything and trying to get them to snag up stuff. Never in my life did I think that dumbbells would cost double the value of what they normally are. So that's why I created that video for you guys, and hopefully all of you had that chance just to learn uh, how to make homemade dumbbells. And basically, the best way to do it is a $4.99 pound or $4.99 bag of play sand. And I know it sounds so silly, but believe me when I say that it works. I actually did that in college, and also when I did some military exercises with some friends and things like that. And it works. It really does. So bricks, play sand, you know, making a backpack, all of that stuff. It works really well. And you're still going to get, I don't want you guys to ever think that you're not going to get value from that, because you will. You're going to get value from bands, you're going to get value from, you know, a backpack, you're going to get value from any kind of tension that you're putting on the muscle. Because especially as we progress, we're going to be doing things such as, you know, changing up tempo, things like that. And again, these first 2 weeks are just going to be a nice intro. And after the first 2 weeks, we're going to get a little bit spicier because we do have a wide range of experience in this group when it comes to, you know, training, lifting weights, things like that. So what's really cool is so the week after next, week 3 to 4, that's when we're going to start messing around with a little bit of reps in reserve. And that's one of my favorite ways to train, especially when I don't have access to a full gym. And it's still one of my favorite ways to train, even when I do have full access to a gym. But it's really cool because it allows you guys to mess with the effort based on your access to equipment and also your skill level, and really just how you're feeling that day. Because honestly, not every day is going to be a 10 out of 10 workout. Some days are going to be kind of crappy, for lack of a better way to put it. And then I'd say out of a whole week, you're going to have maybe 1 or 2 workouts that are kind of meh. Same thing with bike rides. Meh. You ever have those? You know, it could be hormonal, it could be sleep, it could be stress, it could be a variety of things. Um, and then I'd say out of those 7 days, you're going to have a couple of really good workouts and then a couple of mediocre workouts. So don't think that every workout's going to be amazing. But caveat, if all of your workouts start to feel like hell, please let me know. And also let Yuri know, because she'll be dialing in people's nutrition and just kind of helping everyone with that. And obviously I'm able to help with that too whenever Yuri's not available. So we're definitely here for you guys. But that kind of gave you a little bit of a snapshot of what's going on right now. We're getting a nice little baseline. We're giving you guys stable. And of course, stability exercises are going to continue throughout the entire program, because that's something that you should never really take away from your program, but you should certainly add on and enhance and make more complicated as you go along, as you progress, right? Um, so stability, core work. I know people were feeling the core work. You guys probably looked at the workout on Monday and you're like, is that all? But little did you know, like, then you're going to have a couple of full body workouts. All right. The core and the shoulder stuff this week and next. It's just a nice little cookie that I'm throwing in there for you guys, because you can now, without the cookies, I'm sorry, but it's a nice little core cookie without the cookies. I apologize for no cookies, but it helps you progress, especially since the core is so freaking important. I can't emphasize how important that is. Normally I start off with core and glutes for teams, but given this group, we had a lot of shoulder stuff in this group, and myself included, so don't feel bad. I'm sure you guys have seen the photo of me in the Ride or Racer from last year. I crashed and almost dislocated my shoulder. But I will say that the reason I didn't dislocate my shoulder is because I have hypermobile shoulders, yay, yay genetics, but also because of strength training. So I can't emphasize strength training enough for everyone. It really does help make you just more durable as an athlete, no matter what your sport is, but especially our sport, since we tend to push it and we can crash. and all that stuff. So it helps kind of solidify us and whatnot. All right, so that's my 8-minute spiel. Now I'm gonna open up the floor to everyone. So unmute as needed. I do have equipment here. You know, in the back, I have my little basket of equipment. If you need me to demo anything, if you have questions about how to use a towel, for example, if you don't have bands, I can help you with that. So who wants to go first? Kim.
I would love to see if you can demo the towels, because I was trying today with the towel and I'm
Yeah.
not sure I got a good workout.
No, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. So with the towel, did you do full body 1 today?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken?
Well, it wasn't full body. It was
the core and shoulders one?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. Let me pull it up just to make sure that I have it right.
Yes.
I don't want to show you guys the wrong thing. Because though I know there was a bandit pull apart, which bandit pull aparts, by the way, are I did them today. Like, if it makes you feel better about like, what the hell is Jen having me do? I don't understand. This is too easy. Because sometimes it'll be too easy. Sometimes it'll be a lot harder than you might think. Bandit pull aparts are one of those things that I still to this day will have as my warm up, as anything, with my workouts. All right, so let me pull up weeks 1 to 2. All right, core and shoulders. All right, so yep, bandit pull apart. Good. I don't trust my memory, guys, so just bear with me. So bandit pull apart, traditionally, I shouldn't have picked my new band. The new bands are always the worst, just FYI. Until your band gets worn in, that's when it feels better. So bandit pull aparts, you can start off seated, of course. The goal here is to bring your shoulder blades back. Then make sure my office is really small. It's like a New York City office. Then you're just going to bring it towards your chest, out into a T shape here. Come back, but try not to just spring it back. Try to bring it back in a nice controlled fashion. So that's a bandit pull up, or bandit pull apart rather. I'm seated, so that's going to be a little bit more focused on the musculature here in the upper body because I'm taking away my legs. So that's a little bit of an advancement. I would suggest starting off standing. Now, if you're doing it with a towel, you're gonna start off with your hands just in front, kind of a la Frankenstein. Same thing, stack your shoulder blades back, then you're gonna have the towel slide through your hands, if that makes sense. It's gonna take you a little bit longer because you have to reset every time, but that's a good workout. And okay, the other way you can do it too, Kim, is if you want, you can start off here, get nice and tight, go to the end range, and then just hold it, but keep pulling on it for 10 seconds or however many reps. Let's see, is it 10 reps? So I would do it for 10 seconds.
Okay.
Cool. And then same thing with bandit face pull. So the face pull, we're just working that upper back because a majority of us, I sound like I'm not from Florida. The majority of us in this group sits at a desk a lot. Because of that, we tend to have our shoulders go forward, and that can just make us a little bit more vulnerable, especially with a variety of like neck injuries, shoulder injuries, things like that. So we ideally want to make the upper back really strong. And this translates really well to on the bike too. So bandit face pull, you can do the same thing. I would wrap the towel. I don't have anything to demo here. And unfortunately it's starting to rain outside, so I can't take you guys outside, but wrap it around a pole or a tree or something like that. And you're just going to, again, have a static hold at that end range with the face pull for 10 seconds. That's the way I would do it. Okay, if that helps. You can use a table leg if it's a stable table leg. I don't want you guys getting injured at home by putting together your workouts. Trying to think of other ways you can do the bandit face pull. But that's one way you can use it, is just do it isometrically, and isometric holds are no joke. So don't think that you're getting like the short end of the stick, Kim, or anyone who's having to use a towel, because ISO stuff, if you ever go to a PT, that's the one thing they're going to have you do is ISO stuff, because it's gnarly. And honestly, we need to do it more often. Cool. Does that help at all?
I just discovered that if you get a Lycra, I just had this out here because I was going to put it on, but there's some stretch. So I think instead of a towel, now I got my new towel. You know?
Do that. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Do that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially while you guys are waiting for bands to come in or what have you, because the stuff that I did give you was more or less the cheapest I could find. Fortunately, bands aren't being marked up much, which is good because everything else is being marked up. I have stability balls that normally I would buy for my one-on-one clients because I kind of gift them stuff occasionally because I'm a nerd. Let me gift you exercise equipment. They don't love me. Let's put it that way. Um, so like normally my stability balls that I'll buy them is like $15 to $17. They're $50 right now. $50. Not even kidding you guys. So that's why I hope you didn't mind me giving you like a list of links and stuff because I was trying to make your life a little bit easier. Um, without directing you to some of the websites that I have access to. If you guys absolutely have a difficult time getting access to things and you live, especially here in Denver, let me know. I can see what I can pull because sometimes coaches have access to back channels and it's not to make us different than you guys. It's just because that we're only allowed certain discounts on certain product and they limit that because well, there's a lot of coaches and of course everything's marked up right now. So just let me know. We can always do like a 6-foot drop off and I can throw it at you at the trail or something. All right, question, Fanny.
Hey, I know this is going to sound silly, but you always want to have some tension, right? Like with the bands, you never just want to come all the way to the, like, you always just want to keep a little bit of tension, even if it's before
Yeah,
you.
generally, the big thing with this, especially the bandit pull apart, is when you're coming back, just to not let it collapse
Yeah.
in. Like definitely focus on that negative, get some nice good tension. That way you're getting that full burn in both directions. Now, I will say your hands will probably come in and you're going to get a little bit less tension. By all means, that's perfectly fine just for like a little bit of a rest, like a hot second of a rest, just because the bandit pull aparts can be pretty exhausting or they can be tiring when you're not used to them because you're working basically, just so you guys know, you're working your rear shoulders, you're working your rotator cuff, you're working the tiny shoulder muscles that are the
Well,
finicky ones.
after 2 months of not doing anything, I didn't know I had back muscles.
Don't worry. Don't worry. That's why this first 2 weeks, we're just kind of easing into it, having you guys, first of all, get used to the app too, get used to how the programming looks. Because the first time you look at it, and every app is freaking different. First time you look at it, you're probably like, what the hell is Jen doing? So that's why I didn't want to throw you guys reps in reserve at first either for the first 2 weeks, because that's also pretty confusing. So what else? Did you have another question, Fanny?
No, ma'am. Not right now, at least.
Ma'am.
Oh, young lady. Sorry. My
Yeah,
bad.
there you go. There you go. You guys can't see the grays that are growing out now. All right. Who's next? Mel. Or,
Hi.
okay, Mel and then Sally.
Oh, sorry. Hi, everyone. I just have a quick question for you is, what do you see as the main difference between training specifically for mountain biking versus any other kind of cycling?
Honestly, very similar. So I would say, so there's also philosophy differences here. My philosophy is, first of all, we'll talk about endurance. Endurance wise, even if you're enduro style riding, I'm sorry, guys, you need to have some sort of stamina because the more stamina you have, I'm sorry, Fanny, I know, but the more stamina you have, the better the downhill is going to be. And it's just like, I'll use powerlifters as an example. Powerlifters are the people who compete and lift really freaking heavy for bench, squat, and deadlift, right? So they only specialize in 3 lifts. But the better stamina that they have, the better they're actually able to lift for a longer period of time at heavy ass weights, if that makes sense. The same type of understanding can actually be applied to really any sport, but especially cycling and especially enduro. So I know it's not necessarily cross country, but you still need to have at least some level of stamina to where you're not gassed. And especially if you have 2 stages in one day, the last thing you want to be is gassed after doing a long ass uphill because you know they throw those uphills in and then you're having to do your downhill because we have to earn our turns, right? But I will say, so endurance is going to be a formality, all right? Just honestly, I'm not going to have you prepping for Leadville, or anything like that, but I will have you definitely work on your stamina over time, which will hopefully help with your climbs and other things that I saw you guys answer in those questionnaires as they were hurdles, right? So that's the first thing, endurance. So that's pretty similar, regardless of what you're doing, road cycling, cross country. Yeah. The other thing is you're going to notice with short duration, like tempo stuff, all right? I want you guys, ideally, in an ideal world, I want you to be able to do a nice 4-minute, because I'd say that's kind of the short end of a stage is 4-minute, like a 4-minute burner. We had a really good 4-minute burner at a BME race last year, all right? It was awesome, but it was fast and it was pedally. On up to like 20 to 30 minutes, all right? So you need to be able to handle some sort of intervals and some capacity in those time domains, if that makes any sense. Now, sometimes I'll put it up to like 20, 30 minutes because that's usually the high end of a segment or, you know, a stage in an enduro race. So that's the time domain for that. So to talk about on the bike. Now, how strength elements change or vary, they do, but let's talk about how they don't at first. Core, doesn't matter what type of specialty in terms of cycling you're in, whether it's even road, cross country, enduro, downhill, you have to have a strong core because your core is your center of gravity on the bike. And that's actually where you're doing every movement from. You're twisting, you're turning, you're saving your ass when you accidentally nosedive and you're trying to bring your back wheel down. Saying from experience, you need to have that ability to be able to adjust yourself over the bike. Okay, so core is going to be paramount. Now, upper body strength. And I know that that was also something that a lot of you did mention wanting to enhance during this project or during this, I don't want to call it a project. Yes, for me, it's a project, but for you guys during this, you know, series, upper body, you're looking at a lot of push pull. So it's a little bit more aggressive than it would be in perhaps cross country. Cross country now, of course, we're talking like cross country here in the States is different than cross country over in Europe. Over in Europe, it's pretty aggressive, all right? They're doing a lot of drops. They're almost a little bit enduro style, okay? Just with longer duration. Let me know if you guys can't hear me over the thunder that we're getting here in Denver. But, so a lot of push-pull, so a lot of push-ups, pulling, hence the face pulling and things like that. That's going to be really important, and that will vary from like road cycling and cross country. The other thing is being in that stance for a long period of time, the ready stance, the attack stance. That can also exhaust your legs. So eventually we're going to be getting into a little bit more muscular endurance. Right now, a couple weeks, we're giving you a baseline. We're going to eventually start building onto that, especially once we get into reps in reserve and then get into a little bit more higher reps. You're going to be able to handle that leg burn a little bit more, and same thing with the arm burn a little bit more, and the hand pump. So that's where it does differ, if that makes any sense, versus like maybe cross country or something like that. I will say there is a lot of similarity between like downhill and enduro, just because we're all crazy and we just love the downhill. But most of, you know, the enduro races do have you in your stage going up, you know, without a lift, unfortunately, going up, doing the climb, usually on a fire road, and then getting at the stop, and then you just shoot down. And that's when you really have to be fresh, you know, versus like cross country, which is going to be laps and laps and laps, or an out and back, or a huge loop, or whatever the hell they want to throw at you because they're crazy. So hopefully that helps, but definitely a lot more push pull. Strength is handy. Strength is very handy. Does that help, Mel?
Yeah, totally. It's
okay, sweet.
I've been riding bikes for a long time, but really new to mountain biking, so I'm like curious to see the differences. But I can already tell, like at attack stance, like if I'm on a longer downhill section, I'm like, huh, I kind of wish I could sit.
Yeah, exactly. No, totally.
Sense.
Yeah, and that's where we definitely want to get you efficient at, you know, the more endurance side of things, like higher rep and stuff like that.
Totally.
Cool.
Thank you.
Sally, you were next. Yeah, anytime. Oh, hold on. I'll unmute you. Boom. Okay, I got you.
On the app,
Yeah.
I have a question if we're ready to go there.
Yeah.
I accidentally put a workout in for today, but today was my off day, and I keep going back to try to, it's been hard, but I'm doing it. I haven't figured out how to delete it. That's all I need to know. I've tried it like 4 times. I'm like,
So you did do the workout. Okay.
I did not do the workout. I did it the other day. So yeah, I just want to get rid of it.
So generally what you can do, I'll take care of this for you for sure. Give me a second. But what you can do is you can, hold on, let me pull up my app because I want to make sure I'm telling you guys right.
I think if you actually click the workout and then on the top right, there's
it, right?
vertical ellipsis.
Okay,
That's
I'm
it.
there.
But sometimes the delete is actually grayed out. I think if it's in the past.
I went to edit this workout, right? If you go to edit this workout, it says,
Which workout was it?
it was today's 1 to 2 resistance intervals.
Okay, so you did that yesterday?
Yes, and it's in yesterday
Cool.
just fine.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so
also,
what you can do is slide left.
yeah, slide it. I just figured that out.
Yeah, yeah. So Sally, I'm on the screen. Here, hold on a minute. There we go.
Huh?
So I'm on this screen and I have the
Okay.
workout. It's basically your dash. I have
You're
the
on the
workout and I'm gonna slide over the workout. Oops, hold on.
Oh.
Yeah, and then you see the little trash can.
Oh, look at
Hit
that.
the trash can. Throw that shit away.
Bye. Okay.
Bye-bye. Oh wait, here, let me not do
Yesterday.
that for you. Sweet. It's a little bit interesting. Again, first week, just getting used to this app because I know even
Yeah.
as a coach, when I first started using it, I was like, oh God, what did I do? I should just go back to Excel spreadsheets. Like, this is awful. I've completely screwed. And Anne was actually helping me test everything. Sucker. She was fine, but like also her phone was like just being troublesome because she has an older phone that's not an iPhone. So don't worry, that's not a problem anymore. They've had a huge update in the past year. But believe me, growing pains. So if you have growing pains with the app, please let me know. I want to make this as easy as possible, and I can always make a quick little video for you guys and do like another screen recording or whatever iPhone calls it, and save that on YouTube and send it to you guys. Who's next? Nicole,
Hey, Jen.
what's going on?
Hi.
Hi.
So I've tried to like enter myself a little slowly into this because I'm still really sore from Murph on Monday.
Yeah.
And for those of you that are not CrossFitters, it's a massive hero WOD and it is brutal and my legs and my arms are very sore. So, I mean, I guess that leads me to the question of, what are you programming anything in sort of active recovery maybe later on in the process, and I just got to figure it out for now? And
Yeah. And here's the thing. So if you're pressured, don't look at the calendar. Okay. I just plug things in the calendar just to plug them in for you guys. So you can kind of have an idea and see, okay, Jen's mad scientist brain wants me to have a day of rest in between these two like full body sessions, for example. But if you ever read, the program tab, so if you open up your stuff and you read the program tab will definitely give you the lowdown with my little, like, I'll always have like a couple of paragraphs in the beginning of the, God, what is up with the light? I think it's because it's evening and it's rainy out, but stupid. Okay, you can't cheat. But if you go to the program tab in the app, then you'll be able to see, in a couple of paragraphs, my explanation of, okay, what you definitely need to do, which honestly, just focus on the 2 full body sessions this week. If you can get one of the core and shoulders, that would be awesome. Looking at the program, especially for you, Nicole, since Murph, because even today I did push-ups today and that was a freaking mistake after Murph on Monday. And I just did a half Murph on Monday, but my tatas and pecs were not feeling so great.
But the band core and shoulders was good because it
Okay.
helped, I think, loosen everything up. It's just some of the other ones that I was just like,
definitely
doing more squats today seemed like not what I
don't do that. Yeah, don't do that, especially with the single leg deadlift and things like that with day one full body. The rows that are in day 1 full body would be fine, but feel free, just focus on getting in at least those 2 full bodies. Whether you have to wait until even tomorrow, to get one of those in and Saturday, that's fine because you're still going to have plenty of time before even next week. So I would say the full body workouts are definitely going to be the priority, and getting in at least one of those core workouts would be ideal. But feel free to move around stuff on the calendar. I'm not going to be offended. I want this guys to be custom to you. And that's why I love the app so much more than an Excel spreadsheet sometimes, because you guys can move it around however you want. I don't know, but yeah, definitely I would say hold off on push-ups if you can. Pulling would feel really good. Like any rows would feel really good. And if you need to save some of the movements for another day in your week, by all means, Nicole, do that. You guys can also split the workouts if you want to, like morning and evening. If say you only have 15-minute increments, if you guys have kids or anything like that. And I know people are homeschooling and all this other crap right now. So split it up, into like 15, 20-minute chunks here and there. It's totally fine as long as you get the workouts in and get kind of the spirit of it in, if that makes sense. But yeah, for you, I would say definitely look at the unwind flow, see if you can do that, just to kind of open up your hips a little bit. And then foam roll. Do you have a foam roller at home, Nicole?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would flesh out your quads a little bit just to get them a little bit happier after all those squats. Because 300 squats, I only did like 200 and I was walking a little funny because I'm easing back into CrossFit. Yeah. Let's ease back in with Murph. Stupid. Did you have another question, Nicole?
No, it's just really more about, kind of that active rest. So that's not just full rest, but keep moving without, so I think like you said, the flow and some of the other sort of core and active stretching, just kind of throw that in on those days where maybe I'm, the day after a big ride or a big, workout or something like that, and just kind of roll it through.
Yeah, that would help, especially with the unwind flow. If you guys have foam rollers, which I know some of you guys do, or even if you have a Nalgene bottle, Nalgene bottles help if you put a hand towel over them, just to kind of soften the hard plastic, and just use it as a little bit of a foam roller. That can help too. In terms of the cycling, wow, that was really loud. Sorry guys. Hopefully you didn't hear that.
Nope.
Okay, thank God. Just blew my eardrums because I'm wearing eardrums. Sorry. Anyways, if you look at the biking workouts that I have, so for under the program tab, I have a variety of 3 cycling workouts. And this is ideal if you have an indoor trainer, but you don't need to have an indoor trainer because you can do these on like a neighborhood road, a long dirt road, if you have a gravel road or something like that, and you just want to get some outdoor intervals in. Keep in mind, these are also optional. They're just suggestions. And I do recommend at least getting in one, maybe a week, because there is a little bit of madness behind them. And they're purposeful. They're going to help you for those stages and things like that. So I would say, good Lord, hold on. I got to turn this down, guys. Sorry. I'm getting messages in the app and it's this annoying. It's the only app I cannot turn notifications off of, and it's blasting my eardrums right now. So I would say I'm always going to have a little bit of an easier interval or an easier bike sequence. So that's something else that you can also do just to kind of spin out your legs, Nicole. If you want to do something easy, you can do something that is maybe the 30, 60% intervals would be helpful. Just to give yourself a little bit of resistance, but then, I have labeled that one actually as a recovery ride, because it is at about 50 to 60% of your usual effort. So that would be an idea too, if you wanted to kind of do something that's a little bit more recovery. Cool. Who has another question? And just unmute yourself and start asking. Okay, what's up, Christina? Okay, how about Christina first?
Hey, I have a couple questions actually.
Okay, $5 each.
I noticed that you put goals in today, and I was wondering how we're going to measure those.
So I know it's tough, and that's actually something I did want to talk about today with you guys. So first thing is, they're not specific. okay? They're not really specific. These are just extracted from the questionnaire, you know. I did even put, so I know a couple of you guys are interested in maybe losing a few pounds too, just seeing if that's possible this summer. I put them in there, but keep in mind, even though you may have said like 40 pounds, for example, or, you know, 20 pounds, for example, I didn't put in the 20 pounds as your goal because that's freaking overwhelming. So I'm going to go ahead and say that as a caveat. Let's do a stair step goal. You know, I am a health coach, so I believe in stair step goals. Like, let's get you to do the first 5 pounds maybe first, even though this isn't necessarily like a weight loss program. This is more performance geared, right? So I will go ahead and let me say that about the weight. The other thing I'm going to go ahead and say is don't be obsessed about your weight. All right. I know it's kind of a big dose of words to say, but if you're finding yourself getting on a scale every single day and you're kind of getting obsessed about the number, and you find that that number on the freaking scale impacts your mood for the rest of the day, then you need to reach out to me and we need to have a conversation, because I don't ever want anyone to feel that way. Yeah, it's not worth it. I want you guys to be performing well, and the better you're performing and the better you're feeling and performing, chances are the better you're actually going to be reflected on the scale, or at least visually, because I think the scale is stupid. But anyways, I'm going to get off my soapbox. The goals. So the biggest thing that I noticed is people mentioned wanting to improve their upper body strength, for example. So right now, a great way to indicate, you know, any type of baseline is look at your baseline numbers right now, what weights you're working at right now, especially with rowing. I will say rowing's the one thing that we're going to be doing probably until week 12. There's no probably about it. We will be doing rowing till week 12 because it's just so important. It's often overlooked. So that will be a good scale. It's just seeing how many reps you can actually get out of that. Also, the indication too, and this is not going to be a data specific, but it's going to be based on how you're feeling. So it's going to be pretty subjective, which I know coming from a researcher, you're probably like, what, Jen? You're going to be basing something on how you feel. How you're feeling on and off the bike, that's going to be really indicative. And that's probably the most common feedback that I get from a lot of clients that I work on one-on-one with is, Jen, I feel so much stronger on the bike, or I'm able to go over this obstacle, or I'm able to do this a lot more efficiently, or I just feel stronger on the bike. Like you're not getting arm pump, or your legs are kind of lasting a little bit longer. That's going to be another way that you can gauge that goal, if that makes sense. And I know it's again subjective and it's based on feeling and how you're performing, but it is technically a performance goal. So right now I want everyone to think about a segment that you go over a lot. It could be technical, or it could be something that's maybe a little bit more challenging for you if you're not maybe an extreme technical rider. Maybe something that's challenging you right now. I want you to take note. Don't look at Strava per se or anything like that, but I want you to take note the next time you ride it in the next week or two, or maybe if you've ridden it in the past 2 weeks, how that felt. I want you to kind of reflect on that, make a note of it, and then, you know, journal it. You can put it somewhere if you want, in your calendar, on your note, in your phone, or something like that. And then I want you in 4 weeks, every 4 weeks ideally, to revisit that segment or revisit that trail if you can, or, you know, every 4 to 6 weeks is ideal, and see how you're performing on that segment or on that section of trail, or, you know, in and out of the gym. It could also be with, you know, a certain movement. If a certain movement is challenging for you right now, let's see how it feels in 4 to 6 weeks. That's going to be the best way to see how it is. And it could be whether you're able to do more weight. So maybe you're putting more cans in that backpack or more books in that backpack and you're lifting it more, or you're doing a heavier dumbbell if you have a dumbbell, or you're doing more reps with the same weight. That's another indication of progress. Or you're just feeling stronger on the bike. And again, I know it's subjective, but it does work. And you will, I don't want to guarantee, I'm not one to guarantee, but if you guys stick to this program, I can pretty much guarantee that you're going to feel stronger on the bike. So yeah, think about segment, look at your weights, look at your reps now, and then we'll revisit it about every 4 weeks. That was a really long answer, but I get really excited about progress. Sorry. Okay, who's next? I think Sally had another question.
Yeah, if like for this week, if I want to totally delete a exercise, it doesn't seem to want to let me. Did you put that in there so we don't cheat?
Oh, hell no. You should be able to delete.
Yeah.
So are you trying it in the app? Like with the slide or on your calendar rather?
Yeah, it's been so long since I thought about the question. Now I'm trying to think what my question was. Sorry.
Apologize, you're fine. Let's see. I think I'm still in your program. Hold on.
Program.
Nope, I'm in Mel's. Let me get out of Mel's before I start deleting shit out of Mel's. Hold on. Let's see. All right, Miss Sally. Which one are you going to want to delete?
Okay, so Monday I did the core and shoulders. Tuesday I did the resistance intervals. And so now I know what it was. On Thursday I was going to ride my bike, but that has full body. If I move it down, I still have another full body. So now I'm like, ooh, okay.
Oh yeah, because you moved
one?
You moved the full body. Yeah, I got it. So here's what I would do. I'm gonna start. So you're gonna bike on Thursday, right?
Yes.
What'd you do today?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nada. So what I would do.
Clean the house.
That's a hell of a workout right there.
Can be.
I'm just deleting unwind flow. And do you take Sundays off?
No.
No?
Not
Okay. Because Sundays for all of you guys, you're gonna laugh now. But 30 minutes of walking for mindfulness and de-stressing is the best thing you can do for yourself, at least once a week. If you have a rest day, and this could be a hike, this could be whatever. And I'm sure like my one-on-one clients roll their eyes at me whenever I put this in their calendar, but it's on purpose because I want you guys to rest. So I actually put your walking on Wednesday because I know you're doing housework and stuff, Sally. So I just moved your walking from Sunday to Wednesday. Let's go ahead and do your biking, you said tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm moving your Thursday. I basically am holding and pressing it and moving it until to Sunday. So you have day 1 on Friday and then day 2 full body on Sunday. And then you can do Saturday, you can do another bike ride if you want, because we have bike tempos that day as well as core and shoulders that day if you want. Cool. So I just basically pull up your calendar view, and then I just slide, like I tap, hold, and press your workouts and then move them. So as soon as they start to become mobile, that's when I move them to a different day. But you have to press and hold them, and then you can
Okay,
kind of
I
move
can
them to
see
another
that.
day.
I understand that, I think, but I guess I just feel like, okay, now I have 2 full bodies scheduled in the next 2 days. What do I do? I have 1 on Thursday. Well, I did until maybe you just changed it. 1 on Thursday, 1 on Friday, and I'm not sure if I can just delete one because
So
I really want to do
I think
one on.
you need to reload that. So you see the circle, the arrow circle in the upper right hand corner. Go ahead and
Yep.
hit that, and that will refresh the page.
Okay.
Refresh with my edits that I just did.
Alrighty. Yeah. Okay. Good. I'll play with it. Thank you.
Yeah, but you guys can totally customize this however the heck you want. Because, like, for example,
And weather dependent too.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, weather dependent, especially outdoors, and if you don't have a trainer and things like that, by all means, do the full body. And honestly, with a lot of these, you can technically do the full body back to back. It just won't feel the best, especially as you're first starting. So I just wouldn't recommend it right now. Give yourself at least a day when you're doing
Especially
like full
when
body.
we get old, I feel like I need the recovery.
Hey, I get it. I totally get it. I mean, I know we're not the same age, but I'm definitely not recovering like I did when I was 25. And like we have a firefighter in the group, you know, Steffi, I know she's participating, not video and things like that. So she has like 4 days of on, and those are long ass shifts here in Denver. And, you know, hey, what's up, Steph? And you have to be flexible because, you know, especially as much as if you have a lot of calls that day, you're going to be exhausted. And I'm only saying that because some of my good friends are firefighters with like South Metro and North Metro. And you just have to be a little bit careful with your bandwidth and what you're able to do. Cool. So yeah, feel free, move anytime you get a week released in your programming, maybe look at the calendar or look at the weather and look at your schedule and what you're able to do with work and stuff, and just move the workouts around. You know, I only have them plugged in there just to give you guys something. So yeah, who's next? Sydney.
Do you want us like in the app logging our other workouts if we go for runs, if we're doing other bike rides, Peloton shenanigans?
Sure, definitely. And I mean, by all means, this is your app for the next 12 weeks. Use it. If you want to go ahead and add just a general workout even, you just hit the plus sign on your calendar. Just hit the plus sign in the bottom right-hand corner, and it will give you an option for doing a workout with weights, because there's a little kettlebell next to it. You can do an activity, which is cardio. So it could be running, whatever. You can also add any photos if you guys want to track that. I'm not really paying too much attention to that, and body stats. So feel free, like that's your thing to do. I did see some of you guys put some body stats in there. If you want to do like resting heart rate, I love, sorry, I'm trying not to curse. I love resting heart rate as like an indicator, and same thing with sleep. I think sleep is really important to track. Use it. You know, I don't care. Just use it. It's yours. Cool? Cool. And by the way, when you do activity, I think I'd said this on the video, I can't remember. When you push on activity, you can choose running, for example. And if I select that, it'll ask you like what was your target? Was it distance and heart rate, time and heart rate? You can also type your own, whatever you want. But yeah, usually I recommend at least putting in the time that you ran and maybe the distance at a minimum. And you can always add notes to it, like average heart rate or elevation's a good one to add. So who's next? Oh, come on, there has to be more questions.
I'll ask a question.
Okay, Sally.
Can we put, is there a place to put if you get a massage?
You're supposed to buy a gift card and send it to Jen Kate's. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, give me your address.
No, I'm just kidding. No, actually, there's nothing in recovery, or there's nothing regarding recovery, but by all means, you can always do the plus sign and add, well, I took away general. Hold on a minute. They may have actually just made a change. Nope. Hit activity, and you can technically do general and just be like massage if you want to keep track of it, or just let me know.
Okay.
Yeah. Fanny, you had a question.
Okay, awesome. So obviously you already know my background. I don't have like really great endurance. So one of the things I've been so one of the things I've been contemplating is, like, I know that we could talk gadgets and, you know, equipment with Laura, but I've been thinking of getting the Garmin, either the 530 or the 830. The main reason is because of the area that I'm biking now. Like, I'm just getting tired of like pulling every 30, 50 yards just to know where I'm at. But the other thing is like their cadence and their training ability. Not that obviously the Garmin map's going to make me a better biker, but do you recommend at least having something to keep the cadence? Because you know that I suck at that.
I mean, so I do love my gadgets, but I have a Garmin 735. So I don't use it technically for a map. If anyone's ever ridden with me, I'm usually the one that's like, oh, let me stop. Which turn do I go on? I don't remember, because it's been like 5 years since I've been on this trail. I use it more just for my data feedback. But here's the thing. I just don't want people to become obsessed with the data that it's giving you and using this as feedback to say, oh, it's telling me I should rest for 48 hours, or it's telling me, oh, you know, if anything, when it does start to read you recovery numbers, maybe use that as like a gauge, like, okay, I should definitely hammer my sleep tonight. I will say looking at your heart rate will be advantageous, you know, and I did put the heart rate zones in the training guide. If you guys ever want to like print out those couple of pages with under the terminology and just use them as a reference, you know, because we're definitely going to be referencing RPE, you know, your rate of perceived exertion, because to me, RPE is honestly the best indication. And I know some top level coaches would probably be like, what is Jen saying? what? No, not. But these are people who coach pros all the time. And honestly, these are people who train 100% of the time, and they don't necessarily have a full-time job or studying for the bar or whatever the heck else you guys are doing, because you guys are a really busy group. So I don't want people to put too much of an emphasis on the data that you can get from this, right? Because then we can become a little obsessed, just like we can with the scale. So in summary, get the device. Just don't become too obsessed with it. I know Sydney just asked, have you looked at Wahoo? She does like it better than Garmin. Wahoo is also a really good one too, especially if you want to do a bike mount. Just don't get too obsessed with it. Don't get too obsessed with power readings. Honestly, get in touch with yourself, figure out your RPE a little bit. Look at that RPE scale that's in the training guide. Get in touch with that a little bit more, because that is so important, because that's what's going to help you guys on those days when you do go to race. And you're feeling like hell. Maybe it's, again, hormonal, sleep, stress, food, hydration, I don't know, food poisoning. I've had all of these before races. You have to be able to use that feeling of how you feel and internalize those feelings, and be able to know and set your expectations for race day. That is going to be so important. And Anne will tell you this too, and fully support this idea, because some days maybe you're just going to sleep like crap, and maybe you just can't give it 100%, but you're sure as hell going to give it your best, but it's not going to be the best that you've had maybe in the past. So by all means, buy some data stuff, but just try not to live on that data. Like, try not to have the data dictate you. Just use it as feedback. Like, oh, okay, it's telling me, this and things like that. But definitely look at the resting heart rate stuff. I know, Fanny, you mentioned Garmin. Yeah, because Garmin's, obviously popular with the military. It's what the pilots use, officers in military, aviation, things like that. Wahoo's good as well. I will say, if you're using both at the same time, they're both going to give you different numbers, and that's fine. It's not necessarily to say that one is better than the other, but it's just indicative of, definitely get a chest strap if you can. Don't depend on the sensor that's on the bottom of your strap. Get a chest sensor, spend the extra, $50 or so to get the chest sensor. That'll be more accurate. I will say that in terms of heart rate data.
Yeah, I was looking at the bundle that comes with all the sensors, including the heart rate monitor, the cadence,
yeah.
And there's some other one that comes in there.
Yeah.
Top of my
Can't
head.
go wrong with it. I mean, you really can't go wrong with it. I love my Garmin. This is like my 4th or 5th one in the last 12 years. They're great, great American company out of Kansas, excellent customer service. They don't pay me to say this, but yeah, and they just replaced this, because I was in Mexico and I got the Garmin Screen of Death, which is kind of like if anyone has an Apple and you get the little beach ball that spins. Yeah, the Screen of Death. Garmin has a Screen of Death, and you never want to see it. But I was in Mexico and I was in the water and it just died on me, but I got it replaced for $75. So not bad. All right, let me check the chat just to make sure. All right, any other questions?
Yeah.
Christina?
Yeah, what's up, Stacey?
Just in terms of that recovery, training load, that sort of thing. Last year at the end of the season, even though I thought that was like fairly well, like stuff, I just was incredibly zonked. And someone who's a lifter had said, like, it's probably just like cumulative fatigue from the season, like everything you've been doing. And so kind of recovery and how to when you feel like that perceived exertion's like way over there, then
So recovery is by far the number one thing you can focus on in relation especially to sleep. So we'll say sleep's going to be paramount. If you guys need any sleep tips, let me know. I'm happy to do a video on that. That way you guys can kind of watch it on your own, because I'm huge on sleep. And this is coming from someone who's not. I'm notoriously an awful sleeper. Awful. It's horrible. So sleep, definitely focus on that. I'm not going to tell you get 8 hours or anything like that, because everyone's different. Some people they thrive at 6.5 hours. Some people thrive at 7 hours. For me, it's right around 7.5 hours. Keep in mind, we have 90-minute sleep cycles when we're asleep, and our body will naturally want to wake up in 90-minute cycles. So if you want to sleep, what is it, 6.5 hours, I think is actually the starting ideal, is 6.5 hours, because those are actually equal 90-minute cycles if you do the math. So it could be like 60-minute or 6.5 hours or 8 hours or something like that. I can't really remember. But find what your range is, make that a priority. So sleep. Set a bedtime, treat yourself kind of like a toddler, set yourself a bedtime. Try to keep that as consistent as you possibly can every day. That'll be the number one thing that you can do. I know that's obviously not a reality. People are studying for various things. We have kids, homeschooling, obviously like Steph has crazy, long hours, at the station. So that's not doable, but just optimize your sleep as much as you can. I know a couple of people responded that you get like 5 to 6 hours. If you guys can get that closer to 7 hours of sleep, that would be fantastic. And I know it's probably not what you're wanting to hear, but sleep's going to help you with recovery, hands down. The next thing you're going to have is to focus on is protein. And Yuri will talk about this. I'm a little bit more of a protein fiend, I think, than Yuri is. But that's just me, and that's just what has worked for me over the years. But make sure that you're at least getting some protein at every meal. A good palm portion is a good indication. It's usually about 4 ounces of protein or so. And I won't go too heavy into nutrition because I want Yuri to cover that. She's a phenomenal RD if you guys haven't worked with her yet. But yeah, I really recommend, protein as well, especially after bike rides, especially after your training sessions. I have my, it's actually not Ascent, but I have my, my protein powder in here just with some milk and water. I'm not lactose intolerant, so it's fine for me, but protein is going to be important for recovery. Next, using that Unwind Flow foam roller, whatever works for you. I know some people don't enjoy the foam roller, lacrosse ball, if anything's bothering you, keep in mind wherever that point of pain or discomfort is that maybe you're having, or like soreness, that doesn't necessarily always indicate that that's actually what needs to be stretched or laid on with the lacrosse ball or rolled out. It could be what we call like upstream or downstream. So say, for example, your low back is maybe bothering you. It's probably because your hip is a little bit junked up a little, or maybe your hip flexor is a little bit tight, or hamstring's a little bit tight, or so on and so forth. It's just going to be a matter of kind of exploring what works. But don't just smash out your low back, for example, kind of roll out everything around that. Other than that, take at least 1 day of rest a week for sure. Like that's got to be, you have to do at least 1 day of rest. I will say, I'm 40. I've noticed in the past few years, 2 days a week is pretty good for me in terms of recovery, with one of those days maybe being like a longer walk day or a hike day. But that's just me. Everyone's different. That was a little bit of a hard pill to swallow when I started to do that, but then I noticed how much better I felt. The other thing is 40 looking like 20. Thanks, Fanny. I wouldn't go that far. You just have to look a little bit closer. But the other thing is going to be, optimizing just your nutrient dense foods. So getting some colorful vegetables and fruits, whatever you're able to tolerate, because I know we all have different gut stuff. So whatever vegetables you're able to tolerate, the more nutrients you can eat is going to really help with recovery and speed that along, just because you're getting more micronutrients and minerals and things like that. I won't really talk about supplements. Yuri can do that. The only supplement I'll ever talk about is like protein supplementation, just because it's helpful. And it's also really cheap when you look at like the price per serving of protein. It's actually a lot cheaper than meat. Or if, for those of you guys who aren't meat eaters, beans even, it's cheaper than beans. So that's something to think about. Let me think. 1 day of rest a week, maybe even 2. Don't go ham every day. That's the other thing for recovery. So we shouldn't go at 100% every single day. And I know it's going to be hard, especially for some of us who have partners who are maybe training for like really big events, or were training for big events, or maybe they just don't know what they want to do with their training that day. But, have a conversation with them, have a crucial conversation with them, and just explain, hey, my goal might be a little bit different for this ride today. Dot, dot, dot. But I wouldn't suggest going 100% all the time. And that's especially for people who are doing, like Sally, you're doing housework, Steph, you're a firefighter. Some of you individuals have a little bit more of a labor intensive job that's just going to be a little bit more physically demanding. So definitely take that into consideration with your training. Does that help at all, Stacy? Did I leave any gaps?
That's good. Yeah, it's something which I've thought about to some degree, but creating habits and routines sometimes.
Yeah, it's one thing at a time, and if you guys need sleep tips, let me know, as well as stress management tips. Let me know, because I know I'm a coach now, but I used to work in corporate, and I did that for like over 12 years. And I had high blood pressure and all that stuff. So, I can help. I want to help. All right.
I would love a sleep tips video.
Sleep tips, Chelsea. Yeah, you want it? Okay, sleep tips. We got it. I'll try not to talk. I have a tendency to freaking talk. I'll actually make notes. I'll make notes and I'll try to stick with my notes. But yeah, I can do that, Chelsea. Sally, did you have another question? I saw someone's hand up. Okay.
I don't know if you want to go more into depth on the heart rate stuff, or if you want to do perceived exertion. I'm good either way, but I have been using a Suunto heart rate monitor for a long time, and I have this neat little gadget that goes on my handlebars. So because I tend to overdo it, I tend to be like, I just can't. So it's forced me to, I've learned what my zones are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll like at a time I'll be like, this is gonna be, a zone 2, no more than zone 2, maybe just periodically for a hill or something. But and then if I'm riding with people, I just stick to my own goal, and they have to either, usually my best friend, she just waits for me. But I don't want to
best friends.
I don't want to hammer it, because then I ruin the workouts for the rest of the week. And
Exactly.
I know that with my training for cross-country skiing, I need to do more long, slow distance. And if I go out and just do a recreational ski and we're like, wee, we just go hard, well, I just kind of screwed my week up.
Yeah.
So I don't like to be too anal, but I like to be fun. I like to have fun doing the zone 2s.
Hell yeah. Zone 2 is where it's at, You have to be careful with your speed. Speed kills. So too much speed with every single workout is going to just completely tap you, and you're not going to be able to bring your full effort to future workouts throughout the week or the following week or for race week, right? Yeah. So we definitely want to get that dialed. I would say no more than 2 sessions a week should be hammer, should be like 80% plus. All right, we're talking in terms of RPE, so you're looking at least, I'd say, 9 to 10 RPE. So, this would be a really intense workout for you. And in terms of heart rate zone, we're looking definitely in zone, 4 plus. And that's definitely max at lactate threshold, roughly.
Yeah.
But definitely 4 to 6. I'd say definitely 5 to 6, only 2, no more than 2 sessions a week, and have them separated by a day. So don't do them back to back if you can.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I will say,
what were you going to say? Heart rate. I guess my point was I like the heart rate monitor because it sort of keeps me honest.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Me some, like I said, I have it right on my handlebar, and it keeps me from overdoing it.
Yeah, no, totally. It can help you with that red line condition. So Mel, go ahead.
Yeah, admittedly, and I've been an athlete for a really, really, really long time, but admittedly, one of my biggest weaknesses is stretching. And I was wondering if maybe in the next couple of weeks, if you had time to also do a demo video, some of your favorite stretches, because I definitely have my my handful of my go-tos now, but I'm always curious to see what other people do. So if you have any fun.
Yeah,
favorite
mean,
stretches and could do a demo, that would be great.
I do need to record myself more. With COVID, let's just say me recording myself at the gym wasn't possible. As Nicole knows, we go to the same gym. The gym was closed, and even though I'm a coach there, the owners were like, you know, just don't tell people you're going if you go. But I actually ended up not going. But yeah, I can totally do it at home. Now, I will say the Unwind Flow does have some of my favorites, which is the 90-90 hip opener stretch, and then also the couch stretch. Those two are definitely my favorites. So any type of couch stretch and the 90-90, I'll do it every time. Now, I will say this Friday, as far as I know, I don't have anything going on this Friday, but every Friday, so most of you guys might not know this about me unless you have already been coached with me or are in my Facebook group. Every Friday I do a stretch session. Not every Friday. I've taken a couple Fridays off recently because my mom's had a health emergency. But I do a stretch session, and it's about 45 minutes plus, and maybe 30 minutes of it is actually stretching. The other time is just us talking at the end about restaurants and food and, I don't know, shenanigans. Anne usually attends. So you'll see Anne in there, as well as a few other people. And it's just friends, like not even necessarily clients of mine, but they're just friends because I opened it up. I needed to do this. And oh my God, wait, is Tammy in here? Hold on a minute. Tammy,
Yeah,
you joined. Oh my God. Hey, Tammy. Sorry, I just saw the chat and I was like, wait, hold on. Tammy's here? Hold on.
Yeah. Hi.
Thanks for joining. Hi.
So I got a skull fracture, so that's why I got the stitches on my forehead. I had to have operational surgery somewhere on my eye to my nose bridge right here.
Oh my gosh.
I have 6 broken ribs. And then my femur is broke and they had to replace it with a titanium rod.
Which is just crazy. And you don't even remember any of this happening. You just like woke up.
Was this a mountain bike wreck?
No,
gravel bike.
You got hit by a car, didn't you?
Yeah, like I was 35 miles out and 4 miles from home. And I remember this weird intersection. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go just like in the pedestrian, like in the crosswalk, like hand signal thing and be as safe as possible because it's really weird the way it was laid out.
Yeah.
And I thought I made it across because I remember taking pictures. And apparently that's the intersection that I got hit in. So I've been unconscious for a week and I've been conscious for 5 days now.
Yeah, that's just nuts.
Wow.
I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you were randomly able to like join. This is not what I was expecting. Good to see your face. We're just talking about stretching, which unfortunately
I can't do on one leg.
You can't do. Yeah, you can't do. You gotta let that titanium.
My leg is so fat, like I can't even bend it to 90 degree.
Gosh. And you're down in Arizona right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I still can't believe that happened. Like I mean, I'm obviously saying what you were feeling too, but
I'm still like in shock by it. Like I still am in disbelief.
Yeah. Did the person who hit you, did they stop to help?
I guess they did stop to help. I haven't been awake for the first week of it. So my parents took over and they said that the person did stop. There's a police investigation going that speed is most likely the factor, but they don't have any solid answers yet.
So you have a broken femur, broken skull, broken nose, broken ribs.
Broken ribs. I think
Not
that's
a broken spirit.
No, she's smiling and she's
yeah,
laughing.
I know,
she's
right?
got good spirit.
So that's how all of us were in the Vita group. So she's one of our ambassadors. You know, if you don't know Tammy, she's awesome. And she actually joined some of, oh my God, she joined some of the stretch sessions. It's a sausage. Hot dog and sausage. Oh, no.
And your leg still looks better than mine.
That's as much as I can bend it.
Man, titanium femur. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
You're going to be basically indestructible when all
hopefully
this is done. Yeah.
Be lightweight and extra endurance.
Damn, woman.
Did it shatter your femur?
Yeah, it did.
So they took all that. Did they take all the old bone out and just replace it with the bar, or did they piece it together around it?
I'm
Yeah.
not too sure. I saw the break and it was like a
Yikes.
solid.
Well, they drilled the titanium into the bone, I believe, because my nephew broke his femur, and they had to do the same thing. So,
Yeah, they were explaining it to me, but I wasn't as conscious.
Just nodding and smiling
Tammy,
along.
That's-
I love your attitude.
Horrible.
How the hell? You're sitting in a hospital bed and you're like, yeah, I wasn't really conscious when they were explaining this to me, but I've got this badass titanium leg.
She texted me because I actually just met Tammy like, I don't know, a month ago maybe on like a group ride.
Oh, sweet.
And we had been texting back and forth, and we were supposed to go on a ride, and she never answered me, and I was like, that's not really like Tammy. And then the first text I got back like a week later was like, now I'm Harry Potter, and it was just a selfie of her face, and I was like, okay. So high spirits.
That's amazing. You do have a nice wicked lightning bolt
I
on
know.
your forehead. Yeah,
I'm gonna probably have to go back for plastic surgery for that, but
yeah.
on the plus side, now I can get an SB100.
Yeah, I would say just, stick with the SB100 and how's the gravel bike? Isn't it a new gravel bike too?
Yeah, I just got it this fall, and it's all
Huh.
carbon, Envy wheels, and I'm pretty sure from as bad as I got hit, I'm pretty sure that carbon's trashed.
Yeah.
Because I guess like my helmet even like split in half. Because I hit
Damn.
this is where I hit the windshield and the roof line like that.
Oh, shit. Man, you are a
Lucky to be alive.
lucky person.
Wow.
Damn. Well, keep us posted on the prognosis and everything, especially in the Vita, the various Vita groups. I know there's a couple where we were kind of talking about it with you.
Yeah, thankfully, like I'm voluntary physical therapy now. So if I feel like it's not helping me or whatever, if I feel in like 5 days I'm good to go home, I go home.
Damn. Okay.
So excited.
Yeah, that's super exciting. Are your parents there?
They're
Are they
coming
local?
down this next week. They're in Idaho.
Idaho. Okay, got it. Well, Mel, you have someone to go visit if you have time.
Like, yeah.
I tried. She said she's not allowed to have any. I was like, I'll deliver something.
Shoot.
But I don't think she can have. Yeah, but when she can, where are you? Oh wait, no, you're at the PT place now, right? Like the pizza PT place. That's right.
Barrows.
Yes, Barrows is a pizza place, so I just assume that. I like to think that Tammy is in pizza PT land.
I would like to think that too.
That would be perfect.
Should I bring you
Pizza
Barrows
party.
pizza? And then it's just let me know. You say the word.
I ordered a small mellow mushroom pizza, and it came in like this giant box where I haven't even eaten half of it.
Weak. You could do so much better.
Yeah, I think you could do better.
I can't chew though.
Oh, shoot.
Because like something with my jaw, like it feels like I've eaten bubble gum like for 10 days straight. So when I try to chew the crust, it was not fun.
Sounds like I have to come cut it up for you also then.
Yeah.
You're just gonna have to eat some, Mel. That's all.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that's the move. It's like, I'll bring you a pizza. Oh, you can't eat it? That's so sad.
Oh,
Yeah.
but here, just watch me.
Man, it's so good to see your face. So good to see you talking too. I got
So
excited.
do you live in Denver, or do you live in Arizona, or do you live in Colorado? Sorry. Where
I'm
do you
Phoenix.
live? Oh, you live in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
See,
Mel, where are you?
I'm also in Phoenix. I'm in downtown Phoenix, but I will actually be in Denver. I'm driving up there on Saturday, and I'll be there for 2 weeks, so I'll be in Denver for a little bit. But I've lived full time in Phoenix. I've been here for like 4.5 years now. Originally from Philly, though.
Cool. I used to do a lot of Phoenix business trips when I was traveling around.
Come on
Fanny,
back.
did you say something? Yeah, I do like the Phoenix area. Not this time of year. I love you guys during the winter, though. All right, so
Every time people name Phoenix, like I personally hate it. My dad, that's where my dad had his accident, and then they're paralyzed. So, so
you have like a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, I'm like, stay away from Phoenix. But I actually do have a question.
Yeah.
As far as earlier, you mentioned that about your high blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
How were you able to bring it down?
Sleep.
Just kind of curious. Or sleep?
When I was traveling, so I was never, okay, I'll go ahead and just talk about my medical history just real quick, just to give you a background. I have a breathing condition, and I was curious what this breathing condition was, and it didn't really manifest heartily until I moved to Denver. So I went to National Jewish, best respiratory hospital in the nation, diagnosed with a vocal cord dysfunction, super easy, basically went to a speech pathologist. But because I was so anxious between that, not being able to breathe and feeling like I was choking every time I was flying, unfortunately, and I traveled every week for my work at the time, it caused stress-induced high blood pressure. So I was never prescribed any kind of medication or anything like that. But at the time I was also sleeping maybe 4 or 5 hours a night. And that's why I can't help but emphasize sleep, because a lack of sleep can cause high blood pressure as well as a variety of other things. I know we have a couple of people who work in the medical industry who can speak to it a little bit more. But, coming from a health coach perspective, a lot can cause high blood pressure. It can also be, potassium deficiency of some sort. I will never tell you to supplement with potassium though, because that can actually be dangerous as well. But, I basically started to improve sleep, improve stress management. So I started meditating a little bit more, doing some breathing exercises. And then also I started to eat a little bit more higher potassium foods to help. So I kind of did it threefold, but I will say focusing on sleep a little bit more certainly helped. But everyone's different. So I won't ever say hey, what helped me is going to help you or help whoever's having the issue. But those are definitely, possibilities.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So sleep. That's why I don't know. I can't say enough good things about sleep. Yeah. Any other questions, guys?
I have some questions.
Yeah, Laurel.
So mine involve the app. Do you want us to actually fill in the number for the reps? If it says 5 reps, do you want us to say that we did 5 reps? Okay.
Yeah, no, do it. And even do it if you did more and you're like, oh, 5 reps is kind of, a little too easy maybe. Fill it in, yeah, I definitely recommend that, and the weights for sure, just because it does help you.
The weights, can you explain? Because there was a box times pounds. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So the weights, so it's basically going to be your reps times whatever the weight was, and it should indicate it will tell you which box you should put which in, because I think it should say R or reps, and then weight in the other, or time period in the other. Some of them I've noticed I actually need to change and edit some things to just be time period, or just without weights rather. So I'll be editing that. You'll see that by next week. It's just something that's easy for me to miss, unfortunately. So I apologize for that. But yeah, definitely enter your information, because it will also tell me whenever you PR something or you do something maybe at a heavier weight or more reps. So that's kind of
okay, great. And then I have two more. So I've always been a very spacey person. So I have a bad habit of forgetting how many supersets I'm at. So I end up doing another one just because I can't remember, which is probably better. But do you have any practical tips to help me count my supersets?
Yeah, actually, just hit start for the workout to start the actual workout, and it will actually list out every superset automatically for you. So if I have 3 or 4 supersets for, or rounds for that particular superset, it will automatically go through. That way you can just enter the workouts as you do them. What's cool with this too is it also helps prevent you from doing the gram or doing Facebook while you're working out, and then your rest period turns into 5 minutes maybe. I'm saying this not because I think you're doing it, but because I do this. All right. So I work out with an app because it just keeps me less distracted. So yeah, I would say click start on the workout, and then it'll do everything. Plus what's cool with start, if once you hit start, any rest periods, you can go ahead and time the rest period, because there's a little clock on there. You just hit the clock. If I have a 30-second rest period, and it'll count for you. So you don't even have to do anything. The app does everything for you.
Yeah, that part is so awesome. I love that part, the little
Cool.
timer. And then my final question was on your cycling section. It said RPE 7 to 9 with high resistance on
Mhm.
mine. I'm not sure if that's for everybody,
Oh, yeah,
but
it's for everyone.
okay. I just wanted some more explanation on what you consider high resistance. Like, what am I doing on my bike? Like, not quite butt out of the seat, but like, what are you looking for?
Yeah, honestly, it's up to you. So I would say focus on the RPE first. You know, what kind of resistance do you need to get to in order to get to that RPE? Does it need to be a little bit heavier of a gear to where you're having to grind a little bit more to increase the RPE, or what? Because I know it's something that's going to be very personal to you guys. Like my 7 and 8 might be different than your 7 and 8 RPE. So I would say that's first and foremost. There's not really a wrong way to do it. And if you're indoors on a Peloton or something like that, just crank that baby, not all the way, but crank it to where you get some resistance and you're definitely slowing down your pedal stroke, for example, or whatever that particular workout asks you for. But I would say focus on RPE first and kind of use that as a gauge of just, you know, how much more weight do I need to add to the wheel, or how much more gears do I need to put on my bike? Yeah. There's not really a perfect answer for that. It's just going to be based on what's good for you, because we're all starting in a different place. So, cool. Does that help? RPE is one of the biggest pains in the ass. Okay, RPE, it's going to be difficult for the first 2 weeks because I'm not giving you like an actual data, like hit 140 beats per minute with your heart rate or something like that. And I know it can be frustrating for a lot of people, but just kind of go with the flow and just know that any type of interval work is going to be beneficial for you, really. So, cool. Who has another question?
I have a
Totally
question,
got
but it's
distracted
kind of
with
for the
Tammy's
group.
badassery. Oh, wait. Hold on. Sally, did you have a question? No?
Oh,
Where'd
it's
the
Mel.
voice
Sorry.
come from?
I took my video off because my Wi-Fi is.
Oh, it's Mel.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah, hi,
I'm
it's
like,
me again.
who's talking? Okay. What's
It's
up?
me. Don't worry. Is everyone else besides Tammy and I from Colorado? I missed the socialization call, so I'm stealing the spotlight here for just a second to
You
learn.
should.
There are some no's. I see some no's.
So Christina's from North Carolina.
Nice.
Chime in. Yeah, unmute you guys. You can all unmute.
This is Annika. I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico right now.
Nice.
This is Laurel. I live in Salt Lake City, but I'm from New Mexico originally.
Cool.
I'm Sally. I live up in Fraser, Colorado.
I was like, Fraser, I have no clue where that is, but okay, that makes sense.
Think Winter Park. She lives by Winter Park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That I know.
Lucky. She's lucky. I'm Stacy. I live in Denver, downtown Denver.
Stacy, we'll have to ride together.
Huh?
We'll have to ride together.
Yes, absolutely. When's the bike park gonna open up?
Oh man.
I'm also Stacy, also in Denver, and the Ruby Hill Bike Park opens on Friday again.
No way, it
Oh.
does?
Yes, finally. They just
I've never
announced
been.
it.
Guys.
Broomfield opens tomorrow.
Broomfield.
What does?
Okay, so I haven't been to Broomfield.
Broomfield
I've heard
Bike
amazing
Park?
things about it.
Is that
What?
any good?
I think it's really fun.
I just went to my first bike park ever. It's in Flagstaff. It's pretty small, but I got my first like taste of what a baby jump would be. But I'm gonna bring my bike to Denver. So if anyone has any like recommendations of some good rides,
Trestle.
Well,
Well, it's not open.
Yeah, it's definitely not open.
Oh.
Here it
And
is.
Valmont.
Yeah, Valmont's open.
just post a list in the Facebook group, and I will do some research. Yeah, I get there. I'm driving up Saturday, but I'm bringing both of my bikes, both my kind of like daily commuter and my mountain bike.
Yeah, there's so many different types of biking here. You know, like
Yeah, it's
Big
great.
Trails, which like it's not a downhill trail, but there's definitely trails that have techie features.
Mm-hmm.
that are good.
Yeah, like Left Hand, Longhorn. I mean, there's definitely some good ones. You'll have to like earn some of the downhill, but it's fine. It's worth it.
Yeah. Front race always have to.
Good to know.
Yeah, that'll
I'm
be
excited.
cool. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, keep us posted, and definitely like the Facebook group is super friendly. I love all you guys, by the way. Like, we think you all are so rad, and just kind of jumping on to the group. But yeah, post anything in the group. Same thing I was telling Sally earlier yesterday. Feel free to like add some stuff
Yeah,
if you
I
want
got
to do any type of
6 more
if you guys
minutes
want
on
to do
it.
any type of rides in like group rides. If you want to get together, by all means, post something in the Facebook group and just be like, hey, I want to ride. This is my goal for the ride. If you want, if you want to do something a little bit more cross country, get miles in, or if you want to do something a little bit more downhill, post it. Use that Facebook group.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, hopefully I can meet up with some of you if at a socially distant distance.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
that's rad. What other questions you guys have? I know we're approaching 8 o'clock. Sorry.
I saw Christina like raise her hand like twice, but I don't think she ever got her question in.
Oh, did you? Well, ask. Unmute. What do you have, Christina?
Well, it was kind of like along the lines of the intervals, but the 4-2 intervals.
Mm-hmm.
So would it be useful for that to go like, if you had a good hill that would take about 4 minutes to get up, to go up the hill and go back down, and then go up the hill and go back down?
Yep.
Okay.
AKA hill repeats.
Okay, because in Winston-Salem there's a green, it's a gravel greenway, and there's a pretty good hill on that is a good climb. I think it might be about 4 minutes. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, and even if it's pretty close, because we'll add on to it every week, with like a 5-2 or 5-3 interval or something like that. So yeah, you're going to be progressing as you go along with the programming. Yeah, definitely do hills, because it's easier to do it on a hill than it is on a trail. But again, just keep in mind, those are optional. I definitely wanted to offer it to you guys because it's definitely beneficial for increasing.
I definitely need that.
Yeah, and especially for hill work, because that was definitely, I'd say that and your upper body strength were the top two, significant things that people wanted to work on, which is awesome. I'm glad that you guys are aware of that. And hopefully, I'm hoping you guys see that with this programming. So yeah, but yeah, use a hill, use a road even if you want, if you're safe. Don't go Tammy on me here, I don't want anyone to be hit.
I don't go on the roads here.
Okay, I know, neither do I. Because yeah, I've gone through that before and it's not fun. I mean, not what Tammy's gone through, but it's scary. But yeah, do something that you're safe with. And also if you have an indoor trainer or a Peloton, I know a few of you guys have, throw your bike on there and do the same thing on there too. So yeah. Does that help? Did you have another one, Christina?
I think that was about it. Oh, one thing. When you do the squats and like the demo videos, I kind of noticed that your knees are a little bit out. And
yeah,
I mean, I tend to have my knees go in a little bit, but yours almost looked farther out than I'm not used to seeing. And I was just curious about that.
Keep in mind, I'm also 5'2". I do not have long femurs. So anatomically, it's more advantageous for me to have my knees out a little bit. Also, if you ever ride with me, I ride super cowgirl. So my knees are definitely out. It's just what I'm comfortable with, just from squatting. That being said, I will say when it comes to squatting, here, you guys are gonna look awkwardly at my legs here. Okay, wow, I look even shorter now. So with knee squatting, you can also focus on your toes, your toes being straight forward or having them out a little bit more. I will say having them out a little bit more for most people, not all, but for most people can be a little bit more beneficial to get your glutes to engage. So toes pointed out can help with that. If it's uncomfortable, because I know we do have a couple people who have finicky knees. I'm never going to say bad knees because there's no such thing as bad knees. I'm looking at you, Fanny, because you just said that. I'm never going to say anybody's medical history on here either. But
it's okay, they shoot horses.
But it's one of those things if you experience any pain, and then we have to do some sort of adjustment, whether that means lifting your heel a little bit. So if you guys, I know we have some individuals that might have some hip history with some hip issues. If your hips also have a clicking or popping or something that's going on with certain squats, then you might want to consider elevating your heels a little bit. And let's explore that. And when I say elevating your heels, use a book, like a sturdy book, all right? Sydney, you have some law books. This might be coming in handy. Actually, law books might be too big, but a sturdy book. And you might not want to actually, it depends on the structure of the book, but place your heel on the actual end of the edge of the book, and it will elevate your heel a little bit more. And it will also help with your ability, as you hear my ankles crack, your ability to get down a little bit lower into the squat if you can, if you're comfortable with that. And also it could help your labrum in your hip and things like that feel a little bit more comfortable. So that's something you can do. You can use books. You can use, I know a couple of you guys have weight plates that you put on the ends of barbells. Those are helpful to stand on. Rubber mat, a rolled up yoga mat. There's a variety of things you can kind of put your heel on. So squat is totally up to you. Totally up to you. It's whatever feels good to your knees and your hips. Explore. Let's put it that way, especially these first 2 weeks. Definitely play around with it. Any other questions?
I have like,
and just, oh yeah, go ahead, Sydney.
Right, it's super specific, so
yeah.
Do you have any good way to get teres minor to calm down? Because that is one of the muscles that breaks out my nerve injury, and it just like starts spazzing after workouts. It doesn't hurt during them, but it'll start spazzing and causes some numbness down my arm.
Did you say the teres minor? Is that what you said? Yeah, okay. That little bastard is such a bastard. For those of you guys who don't really know, it's basically like on the back of your shoulder blade area. Do you have like a yoga ball or anything, like a lacrosse ball?
Yes.
And you don't have any active inflammation there in that area, or do you? You don't know?
I don't know. It just like, it'll start twitching. And sometimes like I'll stretch it out. I'll do like a good side lean, get a good stretch on it, and then I come back down, and as soon as that stretch is released, it starts twitching and tightens up. And it's only on the side where I have the nerve injury.
Yeah. So what it could also be too is, you can have you can do a little bit of manual release with a lacrosse ball in that area. So maybe stretching might be aggravating a little bit, and maybe you just need to release the spasm, especially once it's spasmed a little bit. Maybe put a heating pad on just to kind of loosen it up. Sometimes heating pads can also help unleash a spasm. Everybody's different, all right? So I'm not going to say a blanket statement, but just try it if you can. But also, like right here, because my teres minor also gets angry, I usually like a lacrosse ball right in that area, but then I also like a lacrosse ball in like my rhomboid area or in between my spine and my shoulder blade, that meaty section there.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, even though the pain is here and you're getting a twitching here, it can also generate there in between your spine and shoulder blade. So that's a worthy area to get a lacrosse ball release in, just to give yourself a little bit of self-massage, as well as some lat stuff too. So you could have lat tension, that's possible, especially considering your injury, and you do have some of the involvement like with your neck that you mentioned just a moment ago. Explore a little bit, The other thing, and I know this is going to sound a little bit ass backwards, you have the pain back here. You could also have some more pec tightness than normal because of your injury too.
Door stretches.
Yeah. And I would say, even if you have a lacrosse ball or a yoga ball or something, you could also dig into a little bit of your pec. Don't overdo it. I'm not saying sit on it for like 20 minutes, but give yourself like a good minute or two deep breathing while you're doing it into your belly button, and just give that a try too, and just kind of explore that at least a couple days in a row and just see how it feels. So yeah. Meow, meow. Stupid bike crashes. But we love our sport so much, we're just going to keep biking and crashing, and like it's worth it. Even if we can't feel our hand at the end of it. I mean, I don't know. No, I'm not encouraging that, but All right. Questions? And just know, you don't, like, if you remember something after this call, just ask me later. It's fine. Ask me, especially in the group, because sometimes other people have the same question.
I've got something. So I was pretty sick for a couple months, and I'm just barely getting back to working out. And I've noticed I'm about up to like every other day as far as needed recovery. As with your plan here, if I'm going every other day, what should I prioritize?
Definitely the full body 1 and 2, and then at least one of the core. And then other than that, I would just ride, you know?
Yeah.
Just ride whenever you can, whenever you're comfortable with that, just to get, get some fun in your training. And you don't even necessarily have to do any of the interval work right now if that's just too much. And keep in mind too that the core element of core and shoulders, I mean, it's pretty short. So if you even wanted to tag that on to a day 1 or 2 full body.
Okay. Yeah, I've just noticed it's taking a lot longer to recover right now than it used to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Especially if it was like an upper respiratory stuff or whatever the sickness was. There's a variety of sicknesses going around right now.
Yeah, it was an undiagnosed respiratory virus.
Yeah.
We know what that is.
Yeah, we do. Especially if they weren't able to test.
Yeah, it's an RNA thing.
Yeah, I got super sick in March and then couldn't get a test for a while and then tested negative and have been dealing with it since. But I'm doing a whole lot better. So
2 months. Wow.
Yeah.
I know, right?
That's intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
No. I have a couple friends who have had it and they were actually tested positive for it. They're in the Vita group, not necessarily any of the ambassadors or anything, but they were messaging me and they were like, Jen, you don't want to get this. This is like the worst sickness I've ever had. And I was like, well, okay, you guys just officially scared the shit out of me. So I'm going to not touch anyone.
But if I get it, can I take 2 months off from corporate America?
I know. Can you just take like a vacation for 3 months? Yeah. I'm glad you're feeling better, Chelsea. I'm glad you're back, but definitely take it easy. And if you ever have any additional questions, like, I can only do like half the workout, by all means, just do what you can do.
Okay.
Something's better than nothing for sure.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Questions? I need to be careful because I can seriously talk about this all the time, but I also know that, it's like 8 o'clock here in Colorado and people are probably like, I'm fucking hungry. Like, can I go eat? So I don't want to hold you guys up, but please know, even if you maybe, think of a question again, I'm going to tell you this till you're blue in the face. Ask it. Oh, Penny, do you have another one?
Oh, no, I was saying goodbye to Sally.
Oh, bye, Sally. Oh, I didn't hear it. Oh, okay, bye, Sally. Sorry, I didn't see your text or I didn't see your message. Just ask in the group. Ask in the group. You can't ask too many questions. No question is, seriously, and I mean this when I say it, no question is stupid. Like, I'll never think that about any of this. Because I want this to be approachable and I want it to make sense to everyone. Cool.
Yeah. Also, I am willing to FaceTime or do a Zoom meeting or Zoom workout for anybody that wants a workout buddy, just because it will also help me get up early in the morning.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. And that is fun. I will say that is a lot of fun. Actually, Sally might be interested in that too. You might want to reach out to Sally. I know she just logged off, but that was something that she and I talked about. I think she's probably going and having dinner with her sexy husband. I mean, I don't think he's sexy, but like she calls him sexy all the time. Hold on a minute. Like that. I didn't mean it like that.
That's how you get them to cook.
Yeah. But she'll just always say, oh, my sexy husband. It's really sweet. But anyways, that's a perfect example of a Jenism there. I just think in my mind. But yeah, reach out to people, especially on the Facebook group. If you guys want to FaceTime or do a workout together or Zoom workout, do it. It's a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna leave you guys. I'm gonna back out of the room slowly, just to make sure no one has any additional questions. Awesome. Well, thanks for doing some workouts. Thanks for coming tonight, and I really appreciate all of you guys. Seriously, reach out if you need anything. Also, keep in mind, I'm going to do some sleep tips. Chelsea, thank you. I'll do some sleep tips video, and anything else you guys want to talk about too. But I'll probably space it out. I'll give myself a few days before I throw another video in your face because I don't want you guys to be sick of me when all of this is done. Right?
All right.
My nurse is lingering outside of the door with needles waiting to poke me. So.
Oh no, Tammy!
Time for some pain medicine.
It was so good seeing your face. I'm so glad you joined.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Feel better, Tammy.
I just want to like
Thank
squeeze
you,
her
better,
right now. All right, yeah, take your meds. Have a great night,
See you,
guys.
buddy.
Happy training.
Nice
Bye,
meeting y'all.
guys.
Bye.
Bye, Mel.
Bye.